Namaste, good morning. I'm SADASHIV NAYAK. I'm part of Future Group. I am part of the value retail business of them, which I think those who visited the Indian shops would be more familiar with Big Bazaar and Food Bazaar, so I'm part of that group. I've been with the group for the last 7 years. I'd also like to introduce Ankur, who's in the exciting genre of consumer insights and marketing. They are part of the famous WPP group globally. In India, you started a year back?
Yeah, April.
Yeah. And they've done a lot of work in the consumer and the marketing space. For us, importantly, in this council, they were our partners globally. So that's Ankur, I'm SADASHIV. What we'll really do is we've got a presentation here. So if you want to add any words on Kantar, feel free to add.
Thank you, SADASHIV. As SADASHIV has kindly already introduced us, we are part of the WPP group. We have been working in India for a long time, but we were supporting India from Singapore before, and we set up the office in India in April last year. There is a small booklet on each table which tells about who we are, what we do, and that will give you much better insight. Thank you, SADASHIV.
So we've got a presentation with us, and we will run you through the slides. It's good to know that a majority of this gang sitting here is youngsters. So I hope you'll enjoy the presentation. But what we'll also try and do is keep it interactive as much as possible. Try and bring up as many points and live experiences. A slight word about the Coca-Cola Council. I think it's a brilliant effort. Coca-Cola also happens to be one of our strongest partners in Big Bazaar and Food Bazaar. But more than that, I think it's a very strong initiative by them globally to really get a set of retailers and in a non-competing environment. So if we are two retailers, we normally would be fighted out in the marketplace, but in the council we sit together and discuss areas of common interest. It's a very interesting and novel concept which I have come to personally. It has finished more than 40 odd years. 78 is when they started in Americas. In Asia they started in 2004. So far the council has worked on 3 projects. I've been party to 2 projects. One was on fresh food safety, and the next one was what we're going to show to you on attracting the younger generation of 2020. Before I forget, it's a pleasure that we have one more member of the council very much here, and he's a little embarrassed to come up on stage, but Pujianto from Alpha Mart, I would like you to give him a big hand. So, Alpha Mart is one of the most respected retailers in Indonesia. There's his colleague also who's come in. I'm sorry I didn't introduce him. They both joined us from Alpha Mart. I think it's a very interesting concept. Whenever anyone gets to go to Indonesia, we talk of small stores here, mom and pop grocery stores. I think what Pujianto and his team have done is something phenomenal. They look at making small stores as good as any other modern retail, and I think I can't describe the experience. It's a full range store within a 500 to 600 square meter outlet, trying to provide as much range, availability, depth, convenience for the consumer's life. So Puji and team are doing a great job. Any questions can also be marked to him. He's very much part of the council, which we are. What I'll be doing really is quickly establishing the concept of what the research was intended to do, and Ankur will keep adding to it. Like Pujianto from Indonesia, I was there from India. There's another gentleman, Gwyn, who's a senior strategic leader in Reliance Retail. He was also part of the same group. Similarly, we had people from China Vanguard, from Walmart China, from 7-Eleven Hong Kong. So we had around 14 or 15 members. All the names of the members are there in the booklet kept on your table, who actually sat down and discussed this project. So I'll share a small personal experience before we do the project. And once I was taking along some friends of my children, who are not teenagers in that sense, on a round. And when we went into any wholesale market, I think we were passing by the Kurla wholesale market that time. Those familiar with the Kurla wholesale market. Some of the friends of my children asked me, who goes to these shops anymore? And that came as a rude shock to me, because I'm always fascinated with the bazaars of India, with the bazaars of Mumbai. It's such a lovely experience to walk through the wholesale markets and get the smell of the masalas, the flowers and the vegetables. And here were my children who are acting like aliens, saying who goes to the shops anymore. And of course they could see so many people in the shops there. So what I realized is there's something which is changing in the youngsters of India. At the same time, I took the same gang to one of our large stores, and they were looking for some silly little candy, some sour punk or something like that, which was not available with us.
You know, as SADASHIV has set the context, the question which started the study off, will the youngsters of today or the teenagers of today still be shopping in physical shops? A big point that came out of the whole study was that the youngsters of today will still be very, very interested in shopping, and specifically grocery shopping, even in 2020. And we will substantiate that with a lot of data that will take you through. But the crux of the thing is that a lot of the youngsters of today would still be very, very interested in shopping, and specifically grocery shopping as it comes to 2020. To meet the demands of those youngsters and to help them stay with them, there are three things that the retailers would need to do. And the three focus areas which you see on your slides, the first would be to focus on the basics. You know, as the basics change, you know, there might be different basic requirements by market. The definition of basics might be different for different markets and different youngsters, but the identification of those basics and to be able to meet those basics would be the first and foremost point. The second point would be to differentiate on formats, to differentiate, provide a differentiated experience with regards to the concept which is called hyper convenience, you know, which helps the shoppers with the ease of shop. They're able to shop easily, and also provide them with a multi-sensory experience. Or shopping is not only a core for them, they get an experience as they go into a physical store environment. So that will be the second most important thing. And finally, the point would be around engagement in digital. Now this is a very important point, and we will keep coming back to this. But engagement in digital does not only mean having a digital space to work in or having an online store. It is also about how you are engaging with your shoppers in a digital environment. How many of you today search, so let's say you're planning to buy a phone or you're planning to buy a television, how many of you search online before you actually go and make that purchase? Okay, so I think rough count I would say maybe 60%. I think that's what it says. So engagement in digital is, you know, being relevant, providing information to the shoppers in that environment. If you are in digital space, brilliant. Even if you're not, it is important to have that engagement. So these are the three concepts which would define how a retailer would, you know, make themselves relevant to the shoppers of 2020. Getting further into the detail of that, the way we will take this presentation, you know, we've touched on some points on you know, the thinking behind the shoppers of 2020 or the teenagers of today, and then we'll talk a little bit more in detail about the recommendations. We've touched on the 3 points retailers would need to do, but we'll get into a bit more detail on that.